at the similarities between an overhook and a clamp guard so that you have options. You can use the same principles and the same theories we're talking about on this video to just substitute an overhook or a clamp for instead of Williams. But let's look at what we need in the Williams guard first. So we have our angle. We've established an angle. When we bring the leg up, this back leg, it's important how it comes up because the way that we control his shoulder is through my leg. It's not just based on my grip. So if I recklessly bring my leg just up any old way and lock any old grip, there's not the control on the shoulder and on his trap that I need. Okay? And then it's gonna feel a bit loose. It's gonna feel like he can drive, like he can slip out, gonna give me some problems. It's not gonna feel like his arm is so stuck in there. So when we bring the leg up, I want us to think about bringing the leg up the back. So we're on our side. We're using a scissoring motion. So I'm bringing my knee up his back to my face. I'm not bringing my knee up and open. If my leg, again, is not on that side of his shoulder, so close to his neck, if it's not on the opposite side of his shoulder, it's not going to be nearly as good. Okay? I want to make sure that it has his shoulder well inside my knee line, right? This is getting now where I'm getting quite open here. Okay? It's inside the line of my knees, but it's just open. I want my legs to be closed and have my knee on that side of his shoulder. When that happens, then of course we overwrap our leg and then we make a grip. Okay, like I said before, you don't need a grip. You can hold the shoulder, but it just depends on what your training partner is doing, whether we need that grip or not. When we make the grip, we're grabbing palm to palm, which is my preferred mechanism of gripping because the way that we're going to control him is through angle and through everything involved, meaning the entire grip, not just the grip of my arms or my fingers or my hands. It's this. If I have my leg out wide, now we're gonna need to figure out a way to clamp his shoulder in with my forearms. If we have everything much more closed, then the structure itself is what keeps him away. So the grip that I prefer is just a simple palm to palm. It's quick to grab. It's very versatile. It doesn't take any time to let go. But this palm must be facing away from me, and this palm must be facing me. So we lock a palm to palm in this nature. Okay. What about our left arm? Arguably, the most important part of the entire system when you lock in underneath your knee is what this elbow does. This elbow needs to jet out to relatively 90 degrees. So we're about 90-degree line right here. If I begin to push on Kyle's head, I'm gonna open this angle up, and it's gonna allow him to bob and weave underneath my arm a little bit. So if he's in here and I say, I need more room, I need to get his head away from me, and I begin to push his head out, there opens up an opportunity just to slide his head in and under, and now we have the grip on the opposite side of his head, which is not a bad thing. If he's trying to leave, if I'm holding him, he's putting no forward pressure, and then he decides, man, I don't want to be here. I want to run out to omoplata. Well, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. This is not a bad thing at all because I can hold someone in here. It's just, this doesn't solve the problem of him bringing the head to my right shoulder. This will solve the problem of him bringing the head to my right shoulder. This will solve the problem of him leaving or running away if I feel like I need to hold him and he's not driving in. So a couple different grips for a couple different scenarios. Most of the time, you're going to want to keep him from driving into you because we have omoplata and good omoplata answers if he tries to circle out. So we'll look at that in a later video. Back to the details. We have our elbow 90 degrees. This is something that you can really mess up. That's how you get your space. You don't need any more space than what that gives you. That's as much space as I need. We're going to use that elbow. I don't need to create any more room. Like this is too much room. I don't need this much room. Just need the elbow. Palm to palm. Now let's talk about the left leg. So we've discussed what the right leg does. This right leg is down on the back and hangs out. Could we lock up our guard? We can lock up our guard. But what I've found is when we lock up the guard, the left leg has now become unusable, and so that I'm holding him more than attacking him. So there's no reason to lock our legs because, as I mentioned earlier, this is not a guard to hold someone unless that's what your mentality is. I want to be offensive, and my left knee, one of the main goals that we have in this system is to bring this knee through and get to the clamp guard. You're going to find that throughout this video, starting pretty much now, when we attack, you're going to see that it's going to be from Williams guard to clamp guard, Williams guard to clamp guard, Williams guard to clamp guard, Williams guard to clamp guard. And clamp guard is when we will move forward into our attacks, with the exception of a very few. So it's important that I leave this leg open. I don't need to close it. Okay? You don't need to close it at all, because I'm going to assume that this arm is in good position. His arm is not going to just let me, it's going to be here. It's going to be over my knee. Okay? If his arm is naively open, well, then I don't need to do anything except bring the leg in. We're going to assume that that's not going to happen in the beginning unless he's moving. So the leg doesn't need to be locked, because most of the time he's locking it for me. Okay? If that makes sense. If he's got pressure on my leg because he's fearful of my left knee coming in, that really closes my guard for me. I don't have to physically close my guard. And you can see the difference of the legs. When I have this frame locked, where my right leg is right now and where my left leg is, my left leg is up off the ground. It's above the hip, because I don't want him to step over. One thing is I really don't want him to step over my foot. So I'm not keeping it on the floor. I'm keeping it up on his hip. Okay? This leg is up here. When I have to lock my guard, I'm going to have to move my right leg in a position where I have to close my guard, either direction, which gets rid of the frame that we've already made. So not a fan of locking my guard in this situation, just because we don't need it. We don't need to. Okay, so the left leg will stay open, but it stays up above the hip. That's very, very important. So just to recap, we want to overwrap of our leg. We want to palm to palm, left elbow. In this case, my left elbow stays 90. The legs can stay open. This left foot stays open above the hip or hip line. It does not go on the floor. And now we can rest easy. I'm not pulling him down. If Kyle wants to posture up, he can posture up to a certain point. Because why can't he posture up much higher than that? Because he's so far over to the side. There's a lot of weight coming down on his head just by